In this Scrapping with Dave video, what I'm going to do is show you some of the really neat tricks you can do to enhance your simplicity of doing a layout in ScrapPage Pro. For this one, let's just assume that you wanted to make a layout of a few pictures and compose them into a 8x10 that you could have printed anywhere, you know, at Costco, Walgreens, or wherever you want it. So we'll start off here under Project, and I'm going to go to Color Background, and then I'm going to come down here and pick under Photo Paper 8x10, and let's make this a landscape layout. That means it'll be, let's say, well, you'll see it here in just a second. Okay, so it's wider than it is tall. That's a landscape. So now what I want to do, first thing is I'm going to add some pictures. Now I've got these 4 photos right here. I'll just select them all, and I'm going to bring them in. You'll see that ScrapPage brings them, or ScrapPage Pro brings them all in individually like that. And we can, like you said, if you've familiarized yourself with the basics of using this, you can see how selecting them, you can move them around, you can resize them and things like that very easily. Okay, so let's make all these just a little bit smaller because I'll show you what I'm going to do here for this layout real quick. I'll just make them all smaller and move them over here for the time being. All right. Now, one of the things that's interesting that you can do is there are some guidelines in ScrapPage Pro, and under Layers, if we go down here and we go to Guidelines, since we got 3 pictures over here, I'm going to pick this rule of 1/3. And what that'll do is let me kind of sort these pictures out and make them fit over here kind of evenly. Okay, so we'll set them up something like about like this. Now, since I picked that one, here's an interesting thing you can do. If I choose that one and I want to make this one be the same size as that, I tell it fine, have it be the same height. Okay, so that makes it the same height. And now I'll choose this one and tell it up here I want it to be the same height. Now notice I'm doing that up here with these arrows or these little buttons up here. These are very useful things. That matches either its height or its width, and I wanted to match all these in height. And these over here allow you to align them either to the left or the top, or I'm sorry, to the right or the bottom. So now if I want to say, okay, I've got these in over here sort of in position, what do I want to do? Well, I want to align them all to the same. So I'm going to pick this one, and let's move it over just a little bit. We'll move it over about like, say, to here. And I'm going to tell it then that I want this one now to align to that on its left side, which it'll do. And this one here also to align to that on its left side. Now you can see the gap here is a little bit different, so I might want to move this guy up just a little bit, something like this, and say, okay, let's realign that to match up the way it was. Okay, so now we've got these lined over here. I can pretty much just turn off this grid now. So I'll go up here into the guidelines, and I'm going to say guidelines off, and that'll take the grid out of there. But we got these things lined up pretty nicely over here. Now let's take this photo and take a better look at it. Okay, I want to make it the main photo of the layout because it's the one of the couple, but it's got a lot of extraneous baggage, I think, around the outside of this photo that I don't want to have in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it I want to crop this. Now, under the crop, one of the options is to crop it with a random aspect. That means I can change the aspect to be any of what the crop is going to be anything I want. So I could make it like this, I could make it like that, however. But for now, I think something like about like this, that'll capture the couple, it'll capture their cake, and capture sort of the theme of the wedding. So let's tell it to crop. Okay, so now you can see what we've got. We cut away all the extraneous baggage around it. Now I want this thing to be the focal point of the layout, so I'm going to blow it up something like about like this. All right, so you can see I just drug that little grow handle there and made the image larger. I might want to say, hey, how about if I line it to the top of that one too? All right, so now that's all lined up. Now, what do we want to do next? Well, let's add a text box, and we'll put that down here someplace. And I'm going to say the text that I want to add is, we'll make up a couple names, Mark and Emily. How's that? And I'm going to pick a font that's going to be kind of nice, a scripty kind of font that I have in here. Edwardian it's called, and I'll tell it to auto size. All right, so I mean, even make it a little bigger. We'll just tell it to auto size so it's a little larger yet. All right, so we've done that. Now also I think I'd like to add another text box, and we'll move it down here before we put anything in it, and we'll say, hey, they were married on August the 12th of 2023, let's say. But this time, I think rather than have it all be in script, I'm going to make it more of a block print and tell it to auto size that. All right, so now there we got their name and their date of their wedding, and we've got everything lined up. Now, in order to make this thing pop just a little bit more, I might use one of the other tools that's available to you in ScrapPage, and that's to put some borders around this stuff. All right, so to do that, I'm just going to pick this photo here, and I'm going to tell it, hey, I want a border that's going to be, let's make it about 3, and I'm going to make the border be black. All right, so there, that put a nice little black border around that image. And what I can do then is I can tell it, by picking these, I want to match it to whatever the previous one was. So I'll match it here, and I'll match it here. So now they all have a border around there. Okay, and see, just like that, in almost no time, using some of the alignment tools and the crop tool that are available to you in ScrapPage, you can make a layout like this, and in virtually no time at all. So I think I'll just let that go here, and for this particular episode of Scrapping with Dave, and I hope this was of use to you and your futures for doing your layouts.